For our 10th presentation, we have the Punahou School from Honolulu, Hawaii.
Hello everyone, my name is Diego Ian, and with me is my partner Amelia Weintraub, and we are representing Punahou School from Honolulu, Hawaii.
Although most of us are already familiar with a lot of this information, it is important to understand the importance of nuclear weapons in order to understand their effects. Nuclear materials are the key ingredients in nuclear weapons, and they derive their power through a process called fission. This splitting results in the release of large amounts of energy, and the most common elements in nuclear bombs are high-enriched uranium and plutonium.
Uranium-235 and plutonium-239 will undergo fission when a neutron strikes the nucleus of either of their atoms. When this occurs, the atom will split and release an amount of energy. This, in a chain reaction, is what causes a nuclear explosion. To achieve this, you require a critical mass of either of these materials. In general, the more material you have, the more likely you are to see a chain reaction. There are two main methods to achieve this. One is a gun-type detonator with a uranium core, as what was used in Hiroshima, and the other is an implosion-type device with a plutonium core, as what was used in Nagasaki.
The health effects of nuclear explosions are due to three primary things: air blast, radiation, and fallout. Air blast and radiation's effects are more immediate, while fallout occurs over a longer period of time. Fallout is when a nuclear explosion occurs close to the ground and soil mixes with the highly radioactive fission products from the weapon. The debris is carried by the wind and falls back to Earth slowly over time, and some effects of fallout include radiation, inhalation of contaminated air, and risk of cancer.
There are 9 main nuclear powers in the world as of now. Russia leads the way with around 8,600 nukes, and the US is close behind with close to 6,500. After this, we see a steep drop-off into the 2 major European powers in France and the United Kingdom, as well as China, and then the 4 newest nuclear powers in Pakistan, India, Israel, and North Korea.
There are a couple of existing treaties we chose to look at, the first being the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty. It provides parameters on the use of missiles between the US and Russia. However, in October 2018, the US president announced that he planned to withdraw from the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty. The Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty is a global ban on the testing of all nuclear explosives. The US and China are currently the only 2 countries that possess nuclear weapons who have not signed the treaty. Finally, we have the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. Its goal is to contain the spread of nuclear technology and promote overall disarmament. So far, 5 nuclear weapon states have joined this treaty.
There have been some more recent efforts to reach nuclear disarmament, however. One of the most notable of which has been the International Campaign to Abolish Nuclear Weapons, which won a Nobel Peace Prize in 2017. However, it's currently stunted by the fact that it has not been signed or ratified by any of those major 9 nuclear powers. In the US government, President Obama called for us to envision a world free of nuclear weapons, and he created the Nuclear Security Project, which aims to reduce U.S. reliance on nuclear weapons for national security. There was also recently the second U.S.-North Korea summit in Hanoi, Vietnam. This did end in a no deal. However, it seems as though there would be potential for future summits like it.
We will be focusing on the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty, which, as we said, provides boundaries on the use of missiles in the U.S. and Russia. The treaty eliminated a category of nuclear-armed missiles on both sides, including all ground missiles with ranges between 500 and 5,500 kilometers. In October 2018, President Trump announced that he will be withdrawing the U.S. from the treaty and officially withdrew in the February of 2019.
The withdrawal of the U.S. from the INF has thrown us into a more tumultuous nuclear future. Currently, the only treaty in place is the New START Treaty, a post-Cold War effort to reduce the total amount of arms in both the U.S. and Russia. However, this expires as soon as 2021, and in the current international climate, there is little efforts being made to negotiate another treaty to extend beyond this period. In a worst-case scenario, we could see the return of a Cold War-esque arms race in the future.
In October of 2018, U.S. President Donald Trump stated, "Russia has not, unfortunately, honored the agreement, so we're going to terminate the agreement. We're going to pull out." The termination of this treaty is due to issues on both Russian and American sides. The United States and Russia both adhered to the treaty for 30 years, but on February 2nd of this year, Trump officially withdrew from the INF treaty, and Russia was soon to follow a couple days later.
In the current international situation, there seems to be little interest in negotiating another treaty, and there is no plan that we know of to create one beyond 2021 and the expiration of the New START Treaty. As a result of the termination of the INF, both the United States and other nuclear powers are known to be working on both short and medium-range nuclear missiles.
The termination of the INF has and will cause many global impacts. First of all, Europe is concerned that Russia will have an easier time weakening them and the connection between all states. The Europeans count on America and counted on this treaty for protection and support. The end of the INF could also be the beginning of a new arms race. Upon pulling out of the treaty, as we just mentioned, the U.S. has already begun to develop new short-range and mid-range missiles, and China is making many nuclear advancements as well. With the limits being terminated, the future use of nuclear weapons remains unclear.
Many of us are here today because we wish to see a world without nuclear weapons. However, there are several challenges in reaching this goal. The first is negotiation. In order for any of changes to actually arrive, we must talk about them. And currently, this has been a major roadblock. The second is the first step of disarmament, actually getting rid of nuclear weapons. No one likes the idea of dropping their guard while another country can still attack them. And this is especially true in local politics, where this can be seen as a weak move and serve as a further discouragement against doing this. The third is commitment. After North Korea's exit from the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty and the consideration of other nuclear powers following suit, how do we ensure that we create a treaty that will bind countries to it? And the fourth is violation. Many treaties end because they are violated, such as the INF. How do we ensure that we discourage violation in the terms of this treaty, and what do we do should one occur?
There are many actions that need to be taken in order to overcome the challenges of the termination of the INF and the dangers of nuclear weapons in general. First, we must communicate. A conversation between all states possessing weapons will help to bring everyone together. Specifically, allies should consider new methods of arms control and reduction in order to enhance overall security. From here, we must work together to come up with a solution that all parties can agree to and benefit from. It is essential we work together to reach stability, because the only thing left to do from now is to materialize these efforts and take action. Much damage has already been done, and now it is time to enhance and rebuild the system in order to create a more peaceful world. On the morning of January 13th, 2018, phones across Hawaii were plagued with a message warning residents of an incoming ballistic missile. For 38 minutes, the people of Hawaii, including ourselves, were struck with fear, frantically calling loved ones, thinking that this could be the end. While the threat only turned out to be a false alarm, it made the dangerous effects of nuclear weapons finally feel real. This led us to want to come up with ways to create the possibility of a non-nuclear future for other future generations.
Many of us in this room are not actually, believe it or not, legislators or diplomats at the current time. So in the meantime, what is it that we wondered, what is it that we could do to move ourselves towards a non-nuclear future? Our plan is twofold, with the first step being education and awareness. We want to leverage our school platform and to educate our classmates about the issue of nuclear non-proliferation. If you don't understand an issue, it's really hard to get behind. And I'm sure, as all of you discovered while researching your presentations, this is not a simple issue. We also want to use social media to extend this education beyond our school borders. The second part of our plan is to push for change. We want to petition local legislatures to adopt non-nuclear legislation. This could include such goals as joining the ICAN treaty or others.
These are our sources. Thank you. Do you have any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.